All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're stepping into the boardroom to tackle a massive question that every single company has to face. You've got a pile of cash, but where do you put it to get the absolute best return? Get it right, you win big. Get it wrong, well, it can make or break everything. So let's put you in the hot seat. Imagine your company hands you $1 million. It's your call. Do you build that new factory, launch a totally new product, or maybe upgrade all your tech? The choices you make could literally define the future of the company. It's a huge puzzle with huge consequences. There's actually a name for this whole high-stakes game. It's called capital budgeting. And it's not about gut feelings or just throwing a dart at a board. It's about using a really powerful set of financial tools to analyze, compare, and pick the projects that are going to create the most value. And today, we're going to open up that toolkit. Okay, first up, we've got to talk about this sneaky little villain called inflation. If you ignore it, if you just pretend it doesn't exist, the rising cost of, well, everything can completely wreck your financial projections. It can make a fantastic project look like a dud, or even worse, make a terrible project look like a surefire winner. And here's the one thing you absolutely have to remember. The golden rule: be consistent. You just can't mix and match. So if your cash flow predictions include future inflation, your discount rate has to include it too. And on the flip side, if your forecast uses today's prices, you got to strip inflation out of your discount rate as well. This really gives you two ways to play the game, and both are totally valid. The first is the nominal method. That's where you forecast your numbers exactly as they'll appear in the future, inflated prices and all. The other way is the real method, where you keep everything in today's constant dollars, which can make the numbers a little simpler to look at. Let's take a look at the nominal method first. So with a 10% expected inflation rate, you can see right away that both revenue and costs are climbing up every single year. This is a picture of the actual inflated dollars the company would be seeing on its financial statements down the road. Okay, now let's flip over to the real method. See the difference? Bam! Those core revenue and cost numbers are totally flat. Why? Because we're looking at them in today's dollars, with all that future inflation stripped out. It gives you a cleaner picture of the project's core performance. And this is where the magic happens. After all that different math, what do we get? Whether you go the nominal route with all the inflated numbers or the real route with constant dollars, you land on the exact same net present value for the project, 942. The path you take is different, but you arrive at the same destination. That's why consistency is everything. All right, so we've tackled inflation, but what happens when the projects you're comparing aren't perfect matches? I mean, what if they have totally different costs or they run for different lengths of time? This is where it gets tricky. It's like comparing financial apples to oranges. Check this out. We've got two projects on the table. Project A costs more to get started, but look, it also generates a higher net present value, or NPV. That's the total profit in today's money, so it creates more total value. The choice is obvious, right? Project A it is. I mean, a bigger NPV is always better, isn't it? More profit is more profit. Seems like a no-brainer. But what if I told you that focusing only on the total size of the prize could actually lead you down the wrong path? What if there's a better way to look at it? This is where we bring in a little tool called the Profitability Index, or PI. And honestly, it's all about getting the most bang for your buck. It's just a simple ratio that tells you exactly how much value you're creating for every single dollar you invest. It completely shifts your mindset from how big is the total prize to how efficient is my investment. And look at what happens when we run the numbers. See that? With the PI, we see that Project 8 gives us 1.06 in value for every dollar we put in, compared to just 1.04 for Project 7. So not only is it bigger, it's actually a more efficient use of our cash. In this case, yep, Project 8 is still the smarter choice. Okay, size problem? Solved. But there's another mismatch we have to deal with: time. How in the world do you fairly compare a project that's over in 3 years with one that chugs along for 4? This is another classic trap that can really fool you. So here's the puzzle. Project 3 looks like a home run, right? Its total value, its NPV is way higher. But hold on a second. It only lasts for 3 years. Project 8 runs for 4. Just comparing the total NPVs is a totally unfair fight. So how do we level the playing field? To make this a fair fight, we use this awesome tool called the Annual Equivalent Annuity,
or AEA. Now, don't let the fancy name scare you. The idea is super simple. It just takes a project's total value and spreads it out evenly, kind of like calculating an average yearly salary. It lets you compare any two projects on a fair year-by-year basis.
And when we do that, whoa, the tables completely turn. Once we level the playing field with AEA, Project 3 is the hands-down winner. It generates the equivalent of $1,264 in value times each year. That's almost double what Project 8 brings in annually. The shorter project is actually way more valuable.
Okay, let's get to our final challenge. And this is probably the most real-world problem of all. Because in reality, you never have enough money to do every single good project. You have a fixed budget. And this is what we call capital rationing.
So here's the game. You've got $100,000 to spend and 4 potential projects. Each one has a different cost and a different payoff. Oh, and one more rule. Projects A and B are mutually exclusive. You can pick one, but not both. So your goal isn't just to find the single best project, it's to find the best portfolio of projects.
You know, it sounds complicated, but the way you solve this is actually pretty simple. It's just a 3-step process. First, you just list out all the possible combinations of projects that you can actually afford. Then, for each of those combos, you add up the total value. And finally, you just pick the one with the biggest number. That's it. So when we lay out all the possible combos that fit our rules, the choice just jumps right off the page. The combination of Project A and Project C uses our entire $100,000 budget, but it delivers a massive total NPV of $60,000. That's literally double the value of the next best option. The decision is crystal clear.
All right, let's take a step back and look at what we've just done. We've just worked our way through 4 of the most common, most difficult challenges in capital budgeting. And this isn't just theory. This is a real practical toolkit you can use to make way smarter financial decisions. So here's your toolkit, all in one place. You've got a problem with inflation. The solution is consistency. Trying to compare projects of different sizes? Use the Profitability Index to find the most efficient one. What about different lifespans? You level the playing field with the Annual Equivalent Annuity. And when you just don't have enough cash, use capital rationing to build the absolute best portfolio.
And that's really what I want to leave you with. These tools, this way of thinking, it isn't just for big corporations making million-dollar bets. I mean, think about it. Are you deciding between 2 job offers with different salaries and career paths? That's kind of like an AEA problem. Trying to figure out the best way to invest your personal savings? That's a PI and capital rationing problem. So the question is, how can you use this toolkit to make better, smarter choices in your own life?